Chapter 9. And in the 24th day of this month have the sons of Israel been gathered, with fasting and with sackcloth and earth upon them. And the seed of Israel are separated from all sons of a stranger, and stand and confess concerning their sins and the iniquities of their fathers, and rise up on their station, and read in the book of the law of Jehovah their God a fourth of the day, and a fourth they are confessing and bowing themselves to Jehovah their God. And there stand up on the ascent of the Levites Jeshua and Bani, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Bunai, Sherebiah, Bani, Chenani, and they cry with a loud voice unto Jehovah their God. And the Levites say, even Jeshua and Kadmiel, Bani, Hashabniah, Sherebiah, Hodijah, Shebaniah, Pethahiah, Rise, bless Jehovah your God, from the age unto the age, and they bless the name of thine honor that is exalted above all blessing and praise. Thou art he, O Jehovah, thyself. Thou hast made the heavens of the heavens, and all their host, the earth and all that are on it, the seas and all that are in them. And thou art keeping all of them alive, and the host of the heavens to thee are bowing themselves. Thou art he, O Jehovah God, who didst fix on Abraham, and didst bring him out from Ur of the Chaldeans, and didst make his name Abraham, and didst find his heart steadfast before thee, so as to make with him the covenant to give the land of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite, and the Girgashite, to give it to his seed. And thou dost establish thy words, for thou art righteous, and dost see the affliction of our fathers in Egypt, and their cry hast heard by the sea of Suph, and dost give signs and wonders on Pharaoh, and on all his servants, and on all the people of his land. For thou hast known that they have acted proudly against them, and thou makest to thee a name as at this day. And the sea thou hast cleaved before them, and they pass over into the midst of the sea on the dry land. And their pursuers thou hast cast into the depths as a stone, into the strong waters. And by a pillar of cloud thou hast led them by day, and by a pillar of fire by night, to lighten to them the way in which they go. And on Mount Sinai thou hast come down, even to speak with them from the heavens, and thou dost give to them right judgments, and true laws, good statutes and commands. And thy holy Sabbath thou hast made known to them, and commands and statutes and law thou hast commanded for them by the hand of Moses thy servant. And bread from the heavens thou hast given to them for their hunger, and water from a rock hast brought out to them for their thirst, and dost say to them to go in to possess the land that thou hast lifted up thy hand to give to them. And they and our fathers have acted proudly, and hardened their neck, and have not hearkened unto thy commands. Yea, they refuse to hearken, and have not remembered thy wonders that thou hast done with them, and harden their neck, and appoint a head to turn back to their service in their rebellion. And thou art a God of pardons, gracious and merciful, long-suffering and abundant in kindness, and hast not forsaken them. Also, when they have made to themselves a molten calf, and say, This is thy God that brought thee up out of Egypt, and do great despisings, and thou in thine abundant mercies hast not forsaken them in the wilderness, the pillar of the cloud hath not turned aside from off them by day, to lead them in the way, and the pillar of the fire by night, to give light to them and the way in which they go. And thy good spirit thou hast given, to cause them to act wisely, and thy manna thou hast not withheld from their mouth, and water thou hast given to them for their thirst. And 40 years thou hast nourished them in a wilderness, they have not lacked. Their garments have not worn out, and their feet have not swelled. And thou givest to them kingdoms and peoples, and dost apportion them to the corner. And they possess the land of Sihon, and the land of the king of Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. And their sons thou hast multiplied as the stars of the heavens, and bringest them in unto the land that thou hast said to their fathers to go in to possess. And the sons come in and possess the land, and thou humblest before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and givest them into their hand, and their kings, and the peoples of the land, to do with them according to their pleasure. And they capture fenced cities, and fat ground, and possess houses full of all good, digged wells, vineyards, and oliveyards, and fruit trees in abundance. And they eat and are satisfied, and become fat, and delight themselves in thy great goodness. And they are disobedient, and rebel against thee, and cast thy law behind their back, and thy prophets they have slain, who testified against them, to bring them back unto thee, and they do great despisings. And thou givest them into the hand of their adversaries, and they distress them, and in the time of their distress they cry unto thee, and thou from the heavens dost hear, and according to thine abundant mercies dost give to them saviors, and they save them out of the hand of their adversaries. And when they have rest, they turn back to do evil before thee, and thou dost leave them in the hand of their enemies, and they rule over them, and they turn back and call thee, and thou from the heavens dost hear, and dost deliver them according to thy mercies many times, and dost testify against them to bring them back unto thy law, and they have acted proudly, and have not hearkened to thy commands, and against thy judgments have sinned, which man doth and hath lived in them. And they give a refractory shoulder, and their neck have hardened, and have not hearkened. And thou drawest over them many years, and testifiest against them by thy Spirit, by the hand of thy prophets. And they have not given ear, and thou dost give them into the hand of peoples of the lands. And in thine abundant mercies thou hast not made them a consumption, nor hast forsaken them. For a God gracious and merciful art thou. And now, O our God, God the great, the mighty, and the fearful, keeping the covenant and the kindness, let not all the travail that hath found us be little before thee, for our kings, for our heads, and for our priests, and for our prophets, and for our fathers, and for all thy people, from the days of the kings of Ashur unto this day. And thou art righteous concerning all that hath come upon us. For truth thou hast done, and we have done wickedly. And our kings, our heads, our priests, and our fathers have not done thy law, nor attended unto thy commands, and to thy testimonies that thou hast testified against them. And they in their kingdom, and in thine abundant goodness that thou hast given to them, and in the land, the large and the fat, that thou hast set before them, have not served thee, nor turned back from their evil doings. Lo, we, today, are servants, and the land that thou hast given to our fathers, to eat its fruit and its good, lo, we are servants on it. And its increase it is multiplying to the kings whom thou hast set over us in our sins, and over our bodies they are ruling, and over our cattle according to their pleasure, and we are in great distress. And for all this we are making a steadfast covenant, and are writing, and over him who is sealed are our heads, our Levites, our priests,